welcome race fans to the RACECORE Online Racing League race here tonight. This is the RACECORE Truck Series here on No Excuses TV, bringing this channel back to life here tonight. Again, this on, we'll see if we can't get that corrected. There we go. We have a reconnect successfully. There we go. Sorry about that. Northwest Racing Series. Make sure you check this league out. If you are a Northwest Club member here on iRacing, you can check them out. Again, they only take Northwest Club members, so check them out at Northwest Racing Series. They are also the one-to-go sponsor here. So every last lap is presented by Northwest Racing Series. Ohio IndyCar League came on board just a little while ago to sponsor, so make sure you check them out at Ohio IndyCar League. You can get all the latest information on them at facebook.com/Ohio IndyCar League. iBog, iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics, your sim race broadcast graphics source. If you need some graphics to get into broadcasting or just need to have some for streaming, whatever it is, make sure you check these guys out. Again, that is Jason Allison at ibog.co. And last but not least, of course, the Hershey Design Company. If you are an iRacer and you race, you're going to need a paint job at some time, so make sure you check them out. Just look up the Hershey Design Company on Facebook, and you can message them today. On the racing side of things, some general sponsors here for the series is, of course, Global Building Contractors. They are the title sponsor of the Xfinity Series. Here in this series, they are a general sponsor. The iRacing Drivers World, again, a big shout out to them coming on board here just in the last 2 weeks to sponsor this series. In the Xfinity Series as well. So big shout out to them. Make sure you check them out. Over 7,000 members and growing. If you need somewhere to share your iRacing thoughts, questions, comments, whatever it may be, check them out. And of course, the one putting all of this together here tonight, that is Leo's Coney Island in Rochester Hills. Make sure you check them out, specifically the Rochester Hills one. Again, that is Leo's Coney Island. They are the presenting sponsor here for tonight's race and this series in general. That being said, we have about 15 minutes to go here. They are out doing a pit party at the moment, as you can see them coming by the start-finish line there. So pit parties are underway. We do want to pull up our pre-race analyst here real fast to let you know what's going to be going on here tonight. 120 laps is what they have, as another driver just connected. That is Jack Fellers. So 22 drivers. Tonight is going to be partly cloudy, 2-mile-per-hour wind out of the north. So, you know, a fairly calm night as far as the wind goes here. And, of course, 180 miles is what we have. And it looks like we have our good buddy Jeff in here with us. So, Jeff, definitely welcome back to the booth. And we're just here actually just getting into the, talking about the race itself.
Well, right on, Charles. Glad to be here. I had to race home from work myself just so I could get here. So, still loading into the race. I believe we've got Las Vegas tonight.
It is indeed Las Vegas, 120 laps. We always get your thoughts on these tracks, seeing how you're the racer. Obviously, I'm more of the broadcasting side of things. But as far as Las Vegas goes, while you're loading in here, well, it is I believe, kind of a tri-oval track, kind of like Charlotte maybe. Similar shape, I guess you could say, but totally different track. So what is it like getting around this track?
I think Charlotte is really a good comparison, especially when you get to the kind of the D-shaped oval there. I really like this track. You get so obviously when the track's a little bit green, the inside of the line is the fastest way around, especially when you get over into turns 3 and 4. You can get those tires right down on that white line, and it's just almost like there's special grip there. You can dip those tires down there and really just make it turn around that corner. But as the track starts heating up and rubbering up, those upper lines come into play. And probably even more so in 1 and 2 than 3 and 4. But you can get 2 lines, 3 grooves even going. We had 3 grooves in one of our races earlier this year, and we ended up at the end of the race. So we started the beginning of the race. We were running right down around the inside of that track, about as low as we could get, and we ended up dang near up at the wall. So we had 3 solid grooves. We really were getting a run off that when the lower line started rubbering up and getting hot. Just getting a nice run. So there was a lot of different lines, a lot of strategies. When those tires wear and you start turning this onto the straightaway coming onto the start finish, there's some apron, and you can cut that a little bit. And if you hit that apron, you pop back onto the track. It seemed to take it pretty well when the tires are fresh, but when they start wearing a little bit, it's real easy to get the truck loose. And once you get that loose a little bit, you got enough speed down that straightaway, it's real hard to catch it. So there's a lot going on this track. It's one of my favorite tracks. It's a fun one to race.
It indeed is a awesome track. I definitely am looking forward to this race. I promise we're not going to do any gambling while we're here. Anything is in Las Vegas. So Sin City, I guess you could say. Just a lot of nicknames for this track, and you can't see it here, but off in the distance, of course, is the bullring track, so the little bitty tiny track. So that one's a little fun track to run here too. But I don't know if I'd want to put these cars on it, but definitely going to be a good little track to run on for some cars. But tonight's all about the big track, and it looks like we got a packed house here in the stands, and we got people in the chat with us as well. So again, for anyone that is in the chat with us, definitely hit that like button and the subscribe button if you haven't before, and definitely get notified of all the racing. As always, of course, we're on a new channel here tonight, so we are definitely kind of happy to be over here, but a little sad all at the same time, but one of those things that had to be done. But that being said, we want to pull up the point standings here real fast. Again, it's a very close battle here as we just sent the points over to Jeff. Jameer Muhammad, though, your points leader with 93 points ahead of David Gainforth, 13 behind him. He's one here. We talked to Justin Starr earlier. He may have a pretty good chance of sweeping it. He's been pretty fast. And again, we've watched him win the last 3 races. One of those was because of a penalty, but he could win all 3 of the truck races in a row.
Yeah, hey, one thing about Jameer Muhammad here lately, and I don't know if it's lately. I haven't been covering these guys that long, but this season I've been doing the Xfinity Series and working them here, and on these intermediate tracks and larger, Jameer Muhammad, he's got really good long run speed, and these guys tend to get long green flag runs. So, and again, Las Vegas is a track that you tend to get those at too. So I think there's a lot of factors in his favor here.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. Again, you can't count anyone out. We do have, I believe, Tommy Gossett is back from his suspension, so he will be racing with us here tonight. Again, be good to see him back here. And I forgot who it was, if we can see if he is here tonight. We do have one EOL, but I don't actually see him here. That was Huffman, but I don't see him in the list of drivers. But Huffman would be serving an EOL from last week, and that is the only EOL this week. So the point standings, I don't think they might shake up a little bit. We'll see. Everyone really is within a point of each other, a point or two anyway, all the way through the top 10, and really even into the top 15 for that matter.
Yeah, we've got Jameer Muhammad's got a fairly sizable lead. David Gainforth in second there, and then you've got Austin Edstrom, and those guys maybe are out there a little bit, but once you get behind them, you've got, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7 drivers within 3 points of each other. So, we've got 3 through 10 within 7 points.
Yeah, they are definitely right there together, and anything can happen when you're that close together. So it is, and we did find out just about 15 or so minutes ago that Roger Muth will not be here tonight. He coaches some baseball, and unfortunately it didn't get rained out. It got rain delayed, so they are playing. So he has to coach that, so he is getting delayed. He won't be here. He's sitting in 11th right now, and you look at James Morgan behind him, Alex Huffman, Brian Bizzle, Mikey Neal, Jack Fellers, Patrick Pylon. Pretty much, if you want to get down to it, all the way down to 20th of Spencer Owens. They are within striking distance, and he will probably fall really big. He'll probably be out of the 20. He may be out of the top 25 when this race is said and done tonight.
Yeah, and that can be a little bit misleading. We know that these guys have 4 drops, and as long as they're for missed races and not a suspension, a missed race is going to show up in the standings now. But when they start implementing those drops, obviously this only being the first one, it really shouldn't affect him that much.
You're right on that. I'd completely forgot about those drops. But yeah, that will play into it. And those drops, they are just a lifesaver. We've seen it over in the Northwest Series. Some guys that weren't quite in the top 10, top 8 in points, but because of drops got put in there. So, those drops really come in handy when it comes to the end of the season. And these guys, assuming they don't miss something, because out of their control or whatever, some of them may plan, a vacation to miss a week or something. So you plan your drop weeks, and then hopefully nothing crazy comes in that you just miss one.
Yeah, I mean, as much as we'd all love to have this as a full-time paying job and be able to dedicate all of our time to it, I mean, I think we're all fans. We all wish we were doing this full-time. We can't. We have lives. We have families. We have jobs. So the drop weeks are just pretty much necessary in here. Nobody's paying us $50,000 a race. So we need the drop weeks because life gets in the way. And, these seasons are long. I can't remember how many races we've got in here. It's like 23 or 25. It's a lot. So definitely need the drop weeks.
Yeah, and you talked about the drop weeks; those are good too. But also having a long season like that, not only do you have those drop weeks, but having a longer season allows you to gain some of those points back too. So if everyone counts all their drop weeks and they don't have any left, then it gives you that, maybe a 5-race little spot there, or 3 races, however many it is. So you kind of earn points back because, you talk about Roger Muth missing a race, but he's typically towards the front. So, he'll come back, he'll have that one, but he can get by some of these guys too on his own by being ahead of them in future races. So he not only have that drop week, but he'll have the ability to earn some of his spots. So, being fast and consistently up front is definitely going to be a big factor in a long season like this. As we have about 4.5 minutes left, we've pretty much gone over everything here. We might see if we can get, actually we can't because they're in a driver's meeting at the moment. But, back to the track itself anyway, I can't recall how many cautions when we were doing your race had, but as far as the track goes here, the tire wear better than anyone. As far as cautions, you think we're expecting quite a few cautions here, or maybe, not so many as long as they control the car when the tires wear off?
So Las Vegas, it has a lot of grip. So this isn't one where we expect to see a lot of slipping and sliding. Now, one of the things that can happen here, and I'm not, we run the fixed set in this league, and I'm not real familiar with the fixed set in the trucks, but sometimes you've got so much grip that you can carry enough speed through the corners, you'll overheat those tires. And you'll see guys kind of spinning a little bit coming off a 2, maybe getting into the wall there a little bit, but more so in 3 and 4 there. I don't think with these being the fixed sets that we're really going to have that problem. So I would expect that this grippy track, I think we should expect a lot of green flag racing tonight, especially with this crew.
Yeah, definitely they got a good crew here. Doing a note here, we watching Trevor Graffam. He keeps connecting and disconnecting as he is losing connection there. So We'll have to keep an eye on that. We've seen that plague a few of these drivers here having connection issues. It seems like it comes up and rears its ugly head in the closing laps of the races for the people that it does happen to. So we'll definitely be watching that to see. So will connection issues be a factor in this race for a driver like Trevor Graffam? And will Jamir Muhammad go and try to win his 4th straight race and a 3rd here in the trucks? Again, all that's going to be answered here in about 2 minutes or so before we get into qualifying. It's going to be very interesting to see Craig Covington, though, in the 96. He's usually in the top 15, top 10, but he is fastest here in practice.
Yeah, it's, Craig Covington's a fast guy. We've got Mikey Neal. He's up there on practice times, too. We're kind of used to seeing that. Austin Edstrom also up there on the top of the board. Alex Huffman, Jamir Muhammad. So, Bryson Barker. We've got a lot of familiar names, but yeah, you're right. Craig Covington is a guy that's usually solidly, he's consistent. So seeing him as the top guy on the board is I think new to us.
Yeah, and one definitely want to point out with a minute ago we just talked about, and that's Alex Huffman. He is your EOL driver for tonight, which, we'll keep a close eye on him. He's 4th fastest, which means we know even with the fixed setup, he's got a very fast car, or truck in this case. It is a truck series, but a very fast truck. So, hopefully, he's got to do what he has to do to get to the front, but you've got to be patient at the same time. It's 120 laps here, so they have plenty of time to get to the front, but he's got to be patient. He's back there where the cautions tend to happen in the back of the field, so he can't press anything. If he presses anything too early, that could be detrimental. He possibly could get into something in the back of this field and then not be able to work his way back up to the front.
Yeah, I know from a little experience here recently that going to the back can be real tough. And especially if you're, Alex Huffman's a fast driver. He's always kind of one of our faster drivers here. And so going to the back, it's difficult. A lot of times bad things happen in the back. And you've got a lot more opportunity to get wrecked or dinged up or something like that. So it's a matter of being patient, and then to balance that with just not spending any more time back there than you have to. So, but you certainly can't get impatient, right? That's when bad things happen.
Yeah, impatience leads to trouble most of the time. And that being said, it is time to qualify, as the checker flag is being waved here for practice. So next up is qualifying, and they will pull out on to the track. There is the green flag. The question is, who's going to be the first one to come out onto the track? And it's going to be a whole host of them, as we will switch over to Austin Edstrom running that number 88 Hooters paint job here tonight.
Yeah, Austin Edstrom is definitely one of those we're going to expect to see probably qualify up front. He typically does. So he's going to spend that first lap getting up to speed, and then would imagine that second lap's probably going to be his money lap.
Yeah, definitely. I expect to see him at least top 3. If nothing else, Jamir Muhammad, I expect to see him up in the top 3, top 5. Tommy Gossett, after being set a week, we'll see how he comes back and races here. He's going to be a man on a mission to come back and try to get the win after having that suspension. So it kind of gives you, the suspension is never good. You don't want one, but when you come back from one, it's kind of like a renewed feelings. Like, yes, I'm back. I kind of got to relax, and I'm here to win.
Yeah, one of the things I like about Tommy Gossett, we talked about being patient coming through the field. Tommy Gossett's one of those guys that for some reason or another seems to find his way at the back, if not at the beginning of the race, later in the race, and then he always ends up front. He is a guy that knows how to go from the back, get to the front, and keep the car intact and show the patience. So if Tommy Gossett starts up front here tonight, I'm not sure what to expect.
Yeah, I'm not either. We'll have to wait and see. And here, I've never seen this driver, the 24 of Donnie Gatton, he is your fastest driver. Well, he was, as now Austin Edstrom's going to take it to the pole with a 31.126. And as figured, Jamir Muhammad's going to be right there behind him with a 31.140, only separated by .014. And Mikey Neal right behind him in third with 31.143. So nothing real surprising about those three being in the top three right now.
Yeah, three guys we expected to see up there. So, like you said, nothing too surprising there. Bryson Barker brings it into fifth place right now with a 31.2. Brian Bizzle, another guy who we watch up front quite often with a 31.198. Brandon Dorsett is in sixth place with a 31.208. And Brian Dorsey, seventh place with a 31.216 right now. So, a lot of familiar faces up front. I think we've still got 5 or 6 guys who haven't qualified yet.
Is indeed, and Craig Covington, one of those, he is out on the track, and now he technically has. He put in a 31.458. We'll see. He's back in 17th. That's not where I expected to see, and that's more like it, putting in the fourth fastest time of a 31.188, as he was fastest in practice. So we'll see how he can do here in the race. It's going to be interesting. I believe he finished in the top 5 last week, for that matter, or maybe it was in the Xfinity race. Well, that would be last week because we were off this past Sunday for Mother's Day. So I do look to see him up front. Again, it looks like everyone, for the most part, has qualified. Patrick Pylon still out there. Alex Huffman, Jack Fellers, and Trevor Graffam have not qualified, and Trevor Graffam actually has disconnected from TeamSpeak once again. I'm not sure if he's disconnected from the sim or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he has yet either. Still trying to get everything set up here, so I can't see my disconnect messages yet. So as soon as I figure that out, I'll let you know.
Well, again, no rush. You did a good job just to get here. So, again, we're glad to have you here. But it looks like that is probably going to do it, as everyone that's going to qualify has. Again, so Alex Huffman, Jack Fellers, and Trevor Graffam not going to be qualifying. Obviously, Alex Huffman does have the EOL, so he's not going to qualify. He's going to be at the back of this field. So, like I said, he's fast. He's always fast. And I think it'll be a very short amount of time, and we're going to see him in that top 10, possibly top 5.
Yeah, and just to update there on the Trevor Graffam situation, I can confirm he has disconnected from the server, so don't know if he's had some connectivity issues or what tonight, but he is not connected to the server right now.
Yeah, definitely having some connection issues, so that'll leave us with 21 drivers here for tonight's race. And so far, well, there it is. Checkered flags are flying here. So that will do it for qualifying, as they are going to get lined up on the grid. So we'll go ahead and I'll run through your Walls Beard Co. Starting grid here. We only have about 10 rows of cars, so I'll run through that for us real fast. On row 1 with a 31.126 is going to be the 88 of Austin Edstrom, getting the pole here for tonight. On his outside, no surprise, the number 14 with a 31.140 of Jamir Muhammad. Row 2 is going to be the 8 of Mikey Neal and the 96 of Craig Covington. Row 3 is going to be the 15 of Brian Bizzle and the 84 of Bryson Barker. Row 4 is going to be the 5 of Brandon Dorsett and the 9 of Brian Dorsey. Row 5 is going to be the 21 of Dan Butler and the 11 of Dennis Ellis. Row 6 is going to be the 99 of Justin Starr, and I'm not sure what his number is, but Donnie Gatton, a brand new driver here tonight. Row 7 is going to be the 13 of James Lorello and the 101 of David Gainforth. Row 8 is going to be the 87 of John Van Vrillis and the 45 of Patrick Pylon. Row 9 is going to be James Morgan in the 12 and the 72 of Ryan Wilson. Row 10 is going to be the 3 of Tommy Gossick and the 83 of Alex Huffman, getting that EOL here tonight off of last week's race. And, of course, in row 11, Trevor Graffam is not here. And Jack Fellers, he is here, so he is going to grid, so he'll be by himself on row 11. And we'll see if he does get by because of that EOL. But that'll do it here for your Walls of Beard Co. starting grid as they are already starting to roll off. And once again here, it is going to be a fantastic race.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see that I've already got a fan in chat there, so good to see you there, KR. Appreciate it there, buddy. As we get ready to take the pace laps here, we've got Austin Edstrom and Jameer Muhammad there in the front row. And we've seen these guys battled out the last couple of weeks here for the win.
Yeah, it definitely will, and we don't want to jinx him. He will get to the front there in chat, but yes, definitely we won't jinx anybody here. Hopefully that jinx is not here with us. But again, what a race it's going to be here. Make sure out there for everyone in chat. Definitely hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you haven't before, and definitely share that stream out there. Let's get everybody in here tonight. 120 laps of just pure awesomeness is what we have in store for you here tonight. Again, it's going to be a fantastic race as always, and I've definitely been looking forward to it. Two great truck races this week. Obviously, Thursday night we have, Jeff, we have your league over there, Northwest Racing Series, so another great one. But there it is, pace car diving off. Green flag is in the air once again. We are racing, and Austin Edstrom got a huge jump on this field.
Yeah, Jameer Muhammad was a little bit slow there. Mikey Neal in the 8 truck was able to get by him on the inside before they even got to the corner. So not a good start by Jameer Muhammad, but we know he's a long-run guy. So I'm sure he'll bide his time and find his way back up there to challenge at some point.
Yeah, and one thing we have seen about him, speaking of the long run, is why I think he's so good. I really think, he may have the, I don't even know what his name is, Harry, I believe, from Days of Thunder. He is really good at putting some good tires on there or something, because he can conserve tires like nobody's business. And that's why I think he's able to get up to the front. He is just so good, and we already have 2 cars going around back towards the back, and not sure who it is. It's going to be Brandon Dorsett going around with somebody else. I believe it may have been Jack Fellers that might have been involved, but I'm not sure, as a caution did not come out for that.
Yeah, I'm going to try to back up here and look at it now. I didn't even catch that one.
It was a very quick one there. I know the 5 of Brandon Dorsett was involved, as he is still off pace, but I'm not sure who else was there, because it didn't look like they suffered too much from it. They're definitely going to have some damage, as Brandon Dorsett is going to pit road. And while we do that, Jameer Muhammad had just passed Mikey Neal for second, so he may not have got the best start, but he's definitely coming to life here already on lap 4.
Yeah, a little early for us here. We talked about saving tires. Man, there's an art to being able to be fast in the early stages of a race and still have the best tires left at the end. I mean, that is truly what separates the best racers on this service from the rest of us. And Jameer Muhammad, in the last 2 or 3 races we've seen, has demonstrated that he seems to be one of those guys. He can run up there, he can challenge, he can put pressure on Austin Edstrom right here in the early stages of the race, and he doesn't seem to burn his stuff up.
Yeah, he just doesn't. Like I said, he's just so good at it. And we'll see if he can get by him here. We may have a bid for the lead, as he is right there, but couldn't quite complete to pass that time by. So he'll just keep. And that's the thing, that Austin Edstrom, he's good at it, but so is Jameer Muhammad. He is very good at it. He's patient. He is very patient. He won't try to force an issue. If he doesn't think he can get by, he will settle for second. But if he thinks he can, he will take his time, and he will get by you in the cleanest, best time possible. And that may be, he may race you for 10 laps or 2 laps. It really doesn't, it just depends on when he thinks he can get by you. But when he thinks he can, he'll get by you.
And we've talked about Jameer Muhammad and, the long run that he showed here the last few races. We can't sell Austin Edstrom short. He is consistently one of the fastest guys in this series. It doesn't matter if you're driving Xfinity cars or trucks. Austin Edstrom, he runs up front. I mean, he is a very fast driver.
He is indeed. And again, he's probably had the most disappointment here in the series. Not necessarily because of his own driving, just getting bumped and DQ, disconnected, different stuff. So, he may not have the finishes all the time to show what he is capable of, whether it's this series or the other one, but he's up front all the time and just frequently has disconnected there once and getting DQ'd after a bump once. So he definitely is a lot better than some of his race results have shown. And he's actually sticking it to Jamir Muhammad right now. He's not letting him by.
No. We know that Austin Edstrom is definitely probably, he's absolutely one of the fastest guys, in this series. And, especially in the short run here, we know that Jamir Muhammad's a long run guy. So we just wouldn't know what to do if Jamir Muhammad got by him early. Austin Edstrom is going to make him work for it. And, we'll see if it happens here around lap 20. That's when it happened last time. In the last race we watched, that's where Jamir just kind of started just having a little bit better tire wear.
Yeah, it definitely did in the long run. And looked back here, we want to check in with some of these drivers. Craig Covington, he was, of course, the fastest in practice. He's currently 7th. He started 4th. So he's falling back here a few spots. I was not sure maybe if he's not happy with the way the truck's handling right now. Or possibly, we didn't get a good chance to look at it there in practice. He may be good on the long run. That fastest lap may have been, 30 or 40 laps into a run. And they were drafting a little bit, I guess, with each other. This isn't necessarily a drafting track. But, he could have had a little bit of help there, or it could have been on the longer run. So we'll have to keep an eye on him to see maybe if he's like Jamir Muhammad. Is he going to come to life later in this race? And the other one I want to check in with, if we can find him, is Alex Huffman, who started 20th. He is currently 18th, so he is moving, but he is really stuck in traffic right now.
Yeah, and if we want to talk about movers, we know that Alex Huffman's going to work his way forward. He's just got to go through traffic. He's being patient like we said he needed to. But we got a new driver to this series who drives the 24 truck. And he's moving through traffic fast. He's on his way up to the front here, it looks like.
He is indeed.
Biggest mover of the race right now.
Donnie Gatton, brand new driver to the series. And you're right, he is the biggest mover, and he is moving forward. And, you can't count any of these drivers out. We say it every week. He may have something for these guys. We'll see if he can get into that top 5 and possibly have anything for him here. As I will also check in with Mikey Neal. He hasn't necessarily lost this front 2, but he is definitely back a little bit. And again, we never know with these guys if they're trying to conserve a little bit here. 13 laps in, now going to be 14 when they cross the line is what we're going to be on. These guys, at this point, 10, 15 laps in, they're probably thinking this is going to go very few cautions tonight. So they're going to definitely be practicing for the actual long run and, trying to conserve these tires a little bit more.
Yeah, typically on a track like Las Vegas, it's not a real rough track. It doesn't really grate those tires real fast. So usually your tires will feel pretty good there for about 10 or 20 laps. So, we're kind of getting to the end of that right here. So we'll see how the tires run right now. We'll see if I think we'll start seeing a little bit of shift in the dynamic of this race. We'll see some of these long run guys maybe kick in here a little bit. Maybe we've got Craig Covington doing a little early saving. Tommy Gossett, who we talked about coming up through the field, he's moving up. He tends to be a long run guy. So we're getting to that point in the race now.
Yeah, we are. And Tommy Gossett, it looks like he's going to get by Actually, the 87 there, but taking a look here, there it is, John Van Varelis. We haven't talked about him a whole lot lately. There for a while he was up in the top 10s, and we were talking about him quite a bit. But right now he's sitting in 13th as he falls one spot. He started 15th, so he has moved forward, but he actually just moved back just a little bit. So Tommy Gossett's still trying to get by him again as he is really battling. He actually got back by him there. So those two are really battling it out here, back for 13th position, which goes to show you, as we talk about, just the skill level throughout this field. That it doesn't matter whether you're battling for first or all the way back to 15th, you're still got a fight on your hands with whoever you're racing with.
Oh, absolutely. I get to see the iRating here on my standing board, which, for those of you that aren't familiar, iRating is iRacing's way of calculating your skill just based on how you finished against guys of a similar skill or better, right? Did you beat somebody you were expected to beat, or did they beat you? And, I think around 15 or 1,700, somewhere in there is about average for an average driver. And I'd say we've got, at least half this field up over 2,000 in iRacing. So we've got a very strong field. There's a lot of good drivers in here. Just looking at the iRating, and then of course we know that iRating doesn't tell the whole story. So many guys just run private leagues. This is a very strong field. A lot of very good drivers in here. Once you get about halfway into that field, it's real hard to gain places.
It is indeed. Again, you're right. A lot of these guys get on here, and they go straight into league racing. So they may not have the best iRating score. Again, it's so tricky. And, you have people, I don't think any in our top 10 are right now, but you get those people that, they get into the public races, or the official races, they call them, and they just get beat up. People run into them all day long, and, their iRating and safety rating just tanks horribly. But you come into a league race, and they win everything. Again, league racing definitely is where the quality drivers are, as far as, here on iRacing. As it looks like the 14 is having some connection issues. He's blinking there for a minute. And he is really starting to blink now. Hopefully he is not going to be plagued with connection issues again here tonight.
Yeah, Jameer Mohammed's been having some connection issues in the last two races we've covered with him. He's definitely blinked in and out, and from the lead, he's done that in the wind. The laps wound down to the end, but he's managed to hang in there. So I'm not sure what he's got that spikes up and kills his connection, but hopefully it'll settle down. Yeah. But he's losing several. He lost one place, but he's definitely fallen back behind Austin quite a ways right now.
And letting Mikey Neal get by him. I'm sure Mikey Neal was liking the fact he was able to get by, but probably scared him just a little bit as well, as they're actually going to all pass Brandon Dorsett in the 5. He is now 16 laps down at the moment, but he is back on the track. So the odds of getting all those laps back are probably pretty slim here tonight. But, anything is possible, if we had several cautions. But right now, we're caution-free here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 123 laps are scheduled. We're on 120. We're on lap 23 right now. Going to be 24 when they cross the line. And again, caution-free. So I, at this point, don't think we're going to see a whole lot of cautions here, if we see any at all.
No, but I do think we're going to have some green flag pit stops here shortly. These guys run a 50% fuel limit. Obviously, we didn't get to do any testing beforehand here, but I think it's around 52 to 55 laps on a full tank. So I would expect to see these guys within about the next 3 or 4 laps heading into the green flag pit stops.
Yeah, I definitely would expect them to see pitting soon. The question is, when we get into the later stages, if we are going green, will any of these guys take 4 tires or 2 tires? That's going to be a question. Is Mikey Neal slowing down, and he is going to be the first one to pit, and so is Austin Edstrom. And Mikey Neal almost locked it up. You might keep an eye on him to see if he got a speeding penalty there, as he had a lot of smoke coming from those back tires. trying to lock this thing up to get on pit road.
Yeah, he was definitely sliding it to speed there, so if he didn't get a black flag, he's real lucky there. Bryson Barker also in the pit with these guys, and I'm not sure who that is behind him. It looks like the 6 truck.
Brian Dorsey's down there in the 9, so that may be what it is, upside down on the car. But the 9 of Brian Dorsey is down there as well. And it looks like the 101, David Gainford, the 12 of James Morgan is down there. Alex Huffman on pit road as well. So a whole host. And here come more. Brian Bizzle coming down. Craig Covington, Tommy Gossett, and James Lorello coming down pit road. But Jamir Muhammad still out front. And, you know, normally we see these guys do this to lead a lap. He definitely doesn't need to, or to possibly wait on a caution, but I don't expect a caution anytime soon, and he's coming down pit road. He will get it woed up in time, and that will give the lead to, never mind, Justin Starr is going to come down pit road as well. So it looks like everybody's coming down pit road here, except for the 45 of Patrick Pylon. And Ryan Wilson has not come down either. So there are your front 2 right now, as Patrick Pylon's going to lead his first lap.
Yeah, and I want to point out Patrick Pylon there. His fastest lap of the race is a 31.37, and his last lap was a 33.312. So it is 2 seconds slower out there right now on these old tires, and that's time you don't get back. So typically when the leaders pit, the floodgates open, everybody gets in, so they're not losing that 2 seconds a lap. Yeah, you know, in this league we've also got a bonus for leading a lap, so maybe Patrick Pylon thought maybe the bonus point was worth it.
Yeah, definitely did, as he is slowing down on the backstretch. I'm wondering if he's out of fuel.
It sure looks like it.
He's definitely slowed up way too soon for pit road.
He's, I think we just guessed that maybe we had 27 laps in this, and
and turns it sideways.
Oh, yeah.
If he's out of fuel, that's not what he wanted for sure.
He's definitely out of fuel. It looks like he tried to start it back up and spun the tires there, so he's going to have to tow. So I would expect that staying out there for that one last bonus point cost him a whole lot more points than he got with that bonus point.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it was a good call, I think, to try to get that bonus point. However, in the long scheme of things, if you're that close on fuel, it wasn't the best call. But however, you know, we're up here in the booth right now. We don't know what his spotter was telling him. You know, his spotter may have told him, you know, 2 laps left of fuel, and then you come around to the next lap and your spotter's like, all right, you got half a lap worth of fuel. So those spotters are not always the most accurate here on iRacing. So he may have thought he had enough fuel and ended up not having it. So anything could have happened out there.
Well, I would imagine if he didn't think he had enough fuel, he wouldn't have stayed out there. But you know, if you're rolling the dice there, it's kind of one of those risk-reward things. You know, how much are you willing to give up to get that point?
Yeah.
You just kind of hope you come out on the winning side, I guess.
And the winning side right now is going to Austin Edstrom, as he is out front now, and he has led 25 laps. Jamir Muhammad has led 2, and of course Patrick Pylon has led 2 laps, and that could have been the downfall too. You know, he got the point for leading 1 lap. He definitely, in opinion of the booth up here, probably should have sacrificed that 2nd lap lead and come into pit road. And you know, maybe he missed it coming in, but that 2nd lap that he led is definitely what caused him to run out of fuel.
Yeah, and to your point, getting onto pit road here at Las Vegas, right there in the middle of that corner, is not easy. So it is easy to miss that corner. That pit entrance there coming off that corner, there's not a lot of good shoulder to duck down onto without giving up too much speed. So it's really easy to lock him up and miss that. And I didn't see it, but if he actually led 2 laps, I would have to guess that that's probably what happened.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, it stinks. He very well could have missed it, but he will get the bonus point. But unfortunately, he is now 2 laps down. He is back on the track, though, as we'll take a look. But he is, again, 2 laps down, back in 20th. He started 16th. So he's got his work cut out for him. And, he's right at the moment not even in the spot for the lucky dog, as that would go to Dennis Ellis, who is 1 lap down in that 11 machine right now. So, he's definitely got to get by the 11, but he's got to get by the leader first to get 1 lap back, so that he can actually fight for the lucky dog. So, again, detrimental to his point standings as he's sitting in 17th in points right now, and he's only 1 point away from Jack Fellers in 1 spot ahead of him, and Mikey Neal and Brian Bizzle just a few spots or points ahead of him as well. So he is one of them that's in a very close battle. So that could be why he it probably is why he stayed out there to get that bonus point.
Yeah, and I just want to point out too, while we were talking about that, Jameer Mohammed on 2 laps fresher tires overtook Bryson Barker there for 2nd place. He's knocked about 7/10 off of Austin Edstrom's lead, and seems to be turning laps in about 2/10 a lap faster than Austin right now. So look for it looks like Jameer Mohammed has found that speed that he was lacking on that first run there at the end of it.
Yeah, and two, I definitely agree. He found the speed, but you also, as we're looking here, to keep in mind, Austin Edstrom pitted. He has 11 laps on his tires. Jameer Mohammed has 9. So he pitted 2 laps earlier than him. So that could be very interesting here tonight to keep an eye on. If 2 laps is about 2/10 slower here.
Well, think about this too. We've got 127 laps here tonight, and we've got a 27 lap field window. So, I'm not great at math here, but 30 laps per fuel window would work out just perfect to get you to 120. So we're a couple laps short per run. These guys will have a couple laps left over that they're going to have to come in and probably get a half a tank of gas there at the end, unless we get a couple cautions. So we're so close to that fuel window that stretching it out a couple laps on each run is definitely a viable strategy. You may be able to just get a quicker pit stop there at the end of the race, or maybe there's enough caution sprinkled in here where you got to make one less pit stop than everybody else.
Yeah, so many strategies going on in here. And speaking of strategies, Tommy Gossett up to 6th place right now in that 3 machine. He's working his way up. Craig Covington as well, sitting in 8th place right now. So those guys are moving forward here. Somebody who's a little further back here, is he apparently didn't get a penalty, but he did have a something go haywire. So that is a Mikey Neal. He's back in 10th place right now.
Yeah, Mikey Neal lost 7 spots there on that pit cycle. So I'm not sure what happened. We lost focus on him as we started watching everybody else pit. So I don't know if maybe he spun it out coming out of the pit box or missed his pit box going in there. We know he locked it up getting in there. So maybe those tires were a little slick. But through that pit cycle, he lost 7 spots.
And, I'm sure he'll bounce back from that. That is not a death sentence by any means, as he is in the top 10 as he gets by the 12 of James Morgan. His next target is the 13 of James Lorello, if he can get by him. And these guys are definitely battling right up in here for about 5th place all the way to about 8th place. They're putting on a good battle for those positions.
Yeah, we've had a nice side-by-side battle going on with our 2 biggest movers of the race, newcomer Donnie Gatton and then Tommy Gossett, the guy we always like to watch come to the field. The 2 biggest movers in the race, and they've been going at it pretty good here for about a lap side-by-side.
They have indeed, and someone we haven't checked on in a while, we saw he pitted earlier. That is Alex Huffman in that 83. He's up to 12th place right now. Again, started 20th because of the EOL. He has gained 8 spots to 12th place. He's just a few spots away from getting that top 10. So he may be on the right track here moving forward. He's trying to get up there to, I believe that is his teammate Austin Edstrom, if I recall correctly. So He wants to get up there and give his teammate a run for his money, but it looks like the 99 of Justin Starr is actually going to get by him.
Yeah, he's Alex Huffman's another guy who we've seen starting the back before and tend to work his way up front. I believe last week he got stalled out there a little bit on his move up front, but he's on the move once again. He's up to 13th place after starting in the back, so another driver we're keeping an eye on.
Yeah, definitely one to keep an eye on. Someone that we haven't talked about a whole lot, and we used to talk about him a lot more. That is the 48 of Jack Fellers. We used to talk about him quite a bit. He was the youngster here, as I like to call him. But we have just not had a chance to talk about him a whole lot. He started 23rd. He's up to 15th. So he is moving in the right direction. But he has just not been able to crack the top 10 all night tonight. As he's sitting back there towards the back of the field.
Yeah, and the youngster. I think when you're my age, a lot of these guys are the youngsters in this series. But Jack Feller's definitely one of the younger ones and one that we like to watch.
Yeah, definitely is one to watch. Taking a look back here to do a little cleaning up. Trevor Graffam is the only one, of course, that did not start this race. He was the 22nd car. He didn't start. Brandon Dorsett, 27 laps down. He is off the track right now. He is still on pit road, though. Dennis Ellis, 5 laps down, off the track on pit road as well. Then you have Patrick Pylon on the track, 2 laps down. And then it looks like that is it as far as laps down. So Patrick Pylon is set to get the wave around and then possibly the lucky dog if a caution does come out. Again, we're keeping an eye on those front two as 0.1 or 1 second now separates the front two of Austin Edstrom and Jameer Muhammad, and it was 0.9. There it is, 0.9 again. So really right now Jameer Muhammad isn't gaining or losing any time on your leader.
Yeah, we're at that point where the tires start feeling real old. Again, we're probably 6 or 7 laps away from pit stops here. And so, we're just not seeing that, the last 10 laps of the run where Jameer Muhammad's been so dominant the last 2 races. We're not seeing it here, at least not as far as Austin Edstrom's concerned. Jameer Muhammad was able to cut that deficit about in half, but he seems to have stalled out here at about a 1 second gap.
Yeah, and I do expect to see him move forward. It's surprising, too, as we've had 20 laps on there. So you talked about it earlier. This is usually when he starts to come to life here in lap 20 on. And that being said, this could be really tricky for Jameer Muhammad as far as the run goes. We've seen him around lap 18 to 20 is when he starts to come to life. So he's really going to start coming to life right about the time we come in for pit stops again, as it looks like Austin Edstrom is coming in here on lap 23. So again, a little bit early short pitting compared to the rest of the field. But that is going to start a chain reaction for Bryson Barker, Donnie Gatton coming in, Justin Starr. So he just opened that can of worms, and everybody's coming down pit road.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit like a short pit there. So, I suppose it's probably not. They're probably just splitting this 120 laps up into 22-lap segments. So I think they pitted last time on 26 or 27, so it would appear that maybe he's running 22-lap segments now. But, it feels a little bit short.
Yeah, we'll see here. Last time, Jameer Muhammad, Craig Covington, these guys stayed out 2 more laps compared to them. The question is, will they stay out those 2 extra laps this time? It looks like he will stay at least 1, as he is going to go by the start-finish line 1 more time. And again, like you talked about, it's not necessarily that they are short pitting. It looks like that to us. But these guys have strategies, and you've got to stick to that strategy unless a caution comes out, which we have not seen so far. So each one of these has their strategy. The question is, which one will be the winning strategy? Of course, we won't know that, till we declare a winner.
Yeah, and one thing we learned about Jameer Muhammad, I think on one of the first races I did with this league, which was Auto Club, and he told us in that interview after the race, if he doesn't feel like he's getting there, driving there, gaining on somebody on the track, he likes to get off on pit strategy. He likes to change up his pit strategy, get a little bit off from everybody else. So often that pays off for people. Sometimes I get stuck in my ways, and I keep thinking, hey, you're losing 2 seconds a lap. What are you doing out there? You need to get in. But getting off cycle, because the first time the caution comes out, it just changes everything. And if you're off cycle, you've got maybe 5 laps fresher on your tires there, but you've got options that maybe everybody else doesn't have. And it can work against you the other way, but we know that's how Jameer Muhammad thinks.
Yeah, and right now we're looking here as more drivers are coming in. Craig Covington coming down pit road. Is Jameer Muhammad going to come down pit road? He's actually gone more laps this time than he had last time here. And we'll see if he does come in. And he is going to come in, which is a good thing for these drivers, because there were only 5 drivers on the lead lap, as now these drivers are going to start to get their laps back. That would have been horrible had a caution actually come out there. We would have had a lot of cars a lap down having to get wave rounds.
Yeah, and they had fresh enough tires, it probably wouldn't have mattered that much, but that's one of the off-cycle strategies that somebody like Jameer Muhammad can create there when he's got most of the field a lap down for 5 or 6 laps. He can force them all to take a wave around while he comes in and gets his fresh tires and comes back out in the lead.
Yeah.
If a caution does come out there.
And we've seen firsthand, you've seen it firsthand, what can happen when a driver doesn't pit and puts the entire field a lap down, and a caution comes out, and it can cause some chaos. There's that 1% chance out there that iRacing goes crazy, and it can cause some serious chaos.
Oh, it absolutely can. iRacing sometimes, when we let them run the flags for us, which we do in this league, as far as I know, it can get a little confused when you got that many cars a lap down. And but it's not just iRacing that gets confused. I'll tell you, when you're out there on 5-lap-old tires and having to take a wave around, it plays with your head a little bit. Knowing that you're going to have to restart on those old tires, and now you want a caution, and just having that mess with the strategy certainly plays with your head.
It does, indeed. And we'll take a look here real fast at our caution graph. Again, we have had 0 cautions here tonight for, of course, 0 laps. 65 laps to go, so we are approaching the halfway point here. When we get to lap 60, we will be halfway to 120. And at the rate they're going here, this race is not going to take long. Again, we've been here for about an hour here live on the broadcast. Of course, 20 of that was practice. So we have been racing for less than an hour, and we're fixing to be right at halfway completed with this race.
Yeah, I want to point out, too, when we talk about being slower on the long run, just because we have the opportunity here, Jameer Muhammad staying out those extra laps. We know he was only a second behind Austin Edstrom when Austin pit. And Jameer Muhammad came out of the pits almost 13 seconds behind Austin Edstrom. So that's how much time he lost running those 4 or 5 extra laps, at 2 seconds a lap slower. So he's 11.5 seconds now. He's gained a second back, but he's got a 12-second deficit.
Yeah, he does. And just, that is a huge deficit, but he definitely, he's got a car or truck that I think he can get up to where he's going to get by the 9 Brian Dorsey. And we'll look here at their last laps. He's trying to 31.321 to Austin Edstrom's 31.871. And keep it in mind, Austin has 10 laps on his tires. Jameer has 5. So he has 5 lap fresher tires. And that could be, if we do get a caution, we'll talk to Jameer about that possibly. That could be his strategy, stay out there. He's on the lead lap now, but he has those fresher tires. Those fresher tires could come into play here in the closing laps.
Yeah, but I want to point out, too, that right now those fresher tires are worth a half second a lap. At the tail end of this run, those older tires are costing you 2 seconds a lap. So that's why a lot of times when you see somebody, that's why we point out Austin Estrom, we thought he was short pitting or he was coming in early. It was earlier than we expected, in which case, it means something to us watching the race here because we expect everybody to follow suit because you need a whole lot more laps at a half second lap to gain back what you lost at 2 seconds a lap. So staying out on the older tires is a risky proposition when everybody else is pitting.
Yeah, it's definitely risky. And it's like we talked about just a second ago. It's already risky, and the fact that we have had 0 cautions, and it doesn't look like we're going to see any at all here as we are halfway done with this race. We're on lap 61 of 120. Being that it's already risky, and then the fact that you might not get a caution to help you get caught back up and get on the lead lap again if you do go a lap down, that means you're going to have to actually race your way back to the lead lap or actually race your way to catch up to the leader again. So that really compounds that the fact or all of that to try to get back to the front.
And it's we can sit here and go back and forth on this probably the rest of the race and talk about all the pros and cons and all this. But these drivers are out there with all this running through their mind, trying to figure out their strategy while they're running around this track 180 miles an hour right now. Passing cars, running side by side. You got tires that don't want to stick. And on top of that, they're all trying to figure out what their strategies are. There's a lot that goes on there, and it's so easy to just kind of get wrapped up in strategy and forget driving out there. And a lot of times that can result in a caution, right? I'm 12 seconds behind now. What do I got to do to get that back? What kind of strategy change do I need to make?
Yeah, and speaking of 12 seconds behind, well, Jamir Muhammad's not anymore. He has moved from 7th to 4th in about 2 or 3 laps. He's now only 9 seconds behind, and he is coming in a hurry. 31.948 to a 32.302. So he is a rocket ship out there right now. He's working his way back to the front. And the question is, we talk about this, once he gets up there, will he have any tires left to do it? And also, we just mentioned this a second ago, once he gets up there, it seems like this has happened so far. He gets up there to the leader, and it's time to pit again. So, he has led some laps because of pit stops, but will his strategy work out here as far as pit strategy and getting to the lead? Because, again, it seems like every time he catches the leaders, it's time to come down pit road, and then he's right back where he started again.
I think whether or not his strategy worked has a lot to do with when the caution flag flies, if it does, right? If he gets in the pits and he comes off early and he's got fresher tires and he's 5-6 laps fresher than these guys are 7-8 on the next pit stop cycle, all these guys got to come in and pit. He can stay out, or maybe they feel that they need to stay out and he's got those half-second lap tires that are faster. But if it comes out at the end of a run, then everybody's going to pit anyways. Maybe it doesn't pay off. So there's still a lot of unknowns. We don't know which strategy is going to work out. But one thing for sure is Jamir Muhammad always seems to be on that alternate strategy, and certainly gives us something to talk about up here in the booth.
Yes, it does. And it seems like obviously more often than not it pays off for him, as he has won every truck race here so far and an Xfinity race. So he clearly knows what he's doing, as he's now down to 8.4 seconds off of your leader. And speaking of your leader, that is him right there, the 88 of Austin Edstrom. So he is definitely going out front right now. He's led 56 laps here. In the next probably about 6 laps, he will officially lock in the most laps led. And again, that's exactly what he needs to do. He is sitting right now 16 points out of the lead in third place with 77 points to Jamir Muhammad's 93. So, again, maximum points is what he needs to do. If he can, obviously he's going to get the 1 bonus point. Looks like he'll get a bonus point for leading the most laps and getting the win here. He definitely could close that gap a little bit.
Yeah, and I just noticed one thing too. We were wondering what happened to Mikey Neal. He came in that first pit cycle there at third place, and so I noticed that he hadn't moved back up. So I just went and looked. He's got quite a bit of right side damage. So we missed something. I don't know if Mikey Neal got in the wall or if he got into another truck, but he's carrying quite a bit of damage there.
Yeah, you can definitely see it a little bit, kind of pancaked in there on the front right. So again, it may have just been a slight little tap to the wall, but it did indeed cost him quite a bit as he's back in 11th. Good news is he's still on the lead lap, as right now Ryan Wilson is 1 lap down, Patrick Pollard 2 laps down, and Donnie Gatton out of the race, Dennis Ellis out of the race. Brandon Dorsett still on pit road, 52 laps down right now. And Trevor Graffam didn't start here, so very few drivers out of the race so far. But none of them are the ones that we expected to be out. Donnie Gatton, haven't seen him before. Dennis Ellis usually finishes in the top 15, so interesting to see him out, as well as Brandon Dorsett, who usually finishes fairly well for himself.
Yeah, and Donnie Gatton, I don't know what happened to him. He was one of the guys that we had highlighted as one of our big movers. He's the 24 truck, new guy to the series. He was up there. We were watching him battle Tommy Gossett a little bit earlier. We didn't see any cautions. I didn't see anybody look like they were off pace. So, there's something else we missed. I don't know what happened to Donnie, but he was coming through the field.
Yeah, he was indeed. Something went wrong there. We just don't know what it is. And I don't think we have him here in TeamSpeak with us, so, that is very unfortunate that we don't. But Tommy Gossett, moving through the field right now, he is in 5th place to look to see where he started. He started 19th, so he has gained a ton of spots in the number 3 machine.
Yeah, this is what Tommy Gossett does. We talked about it before the broadcast. We talk about it before every broadcast. And he never disappoints. So Tommy Gossett usually finds his way up into the top 5, and he usually starts in the back, and that's just something seems like we can count on every week.
Yeah, and he's actually going to bring it down at pit road now, and he is going to get some tires and fuel, and that'll give the lead to Bryson Barker, as Austin Edstrom is going to come down pit road as well. So several drivers going to be coming down pit road. Austin Edstrom, his stop is done here. Mikey Neal on pit road as well. We'll say Brian Dorsey on pit road. James Rello, David Gainforth. So a lot of drivers coming down. Now we have Bryson Barker coming down, James Morgan and Craig Covington, as well as Justin Starr. So once again, we have Brian Bizzle and Jameer Muhammad staying out.
Yeah, now Jameer Muhammad's only got 20 laps on those tires, so I think we might see him stay out another 5 or 6 laps here. So the question is how many guys will he put a lap down, and will we get a caution while he's staying out here, right? If you're a guy that just got tires and you're a lap down right now, you're pretty nervous these next 5 or 6 laps, hoping the caution flag does not come out.
Yeah, definitely. As right now we have 5 cars on the lead lap. And again, like you said, he's only got now 21 laps on those tires. And if you can go about 27 on fuel, we saw these guys last time go about to lap 26, or that lap 20, a stint of 26 before they pitted. So he could potentially put everyone but himself a lap down. But there goes Austin Edstrom. He is actually going to physically get his lap back by passing the leader on those fresh tires.
Yeah, and so, again, this is where we, if you don't get that caution, this is where it probably doesn't pay off. Austin Edstrom's 2 seconds a lap faster. We saw that interval cut from 1 second and end up at about 13 seconds when he stayed out the last time. So it looks like we've probably got about 3 more laps here, and he's losing. If we look at the lap times right now, Jameer Muhammad just ran a 32.7 to Austin Edstrom's 31.5, so 1.2 seconds. Not that bad right now.
No, it's not. And what you have to kind of be leery about is looks like he is possibly, no, he's not going to come down pit road, is some drivers are. It looks like Jack Fellers is going to come down pit road. So if you're Jameer Muhammad, okay, so you're going into pit soon. You know, what you typically want, especially because Austin Edstrom just passed him. So the goal is to pit while they're still behind you a lap down. You come in, they get their lap back, but you're still possibly ahead of him. He's already ahead of him now, so he's got to pit, and he has less time to get on pit road, get his tires and fuel, and get back out before he possibly actually goes a lap down himself.
Well, he's, still almost a full lap out, and then you'd have to go down another lap, so I don't think that's an issue. Looks like he might be slowing down the pit now, though. Is that? Oh, nope, I'm wrong again. I think he's far enough out front that he's not got to worry about going a lap down. But right now, I think if you're him, you got a couple guys left to make green flag pit stops. When you get on these old tires, it's so easy to slide this thing sideways trying to get into pit road. It's probably the most likely thing to bring out a caution right now.
Yeah.
And so, he may just be waiting it out to just get as many guys in there pitting as possible. But this is lap 26 of this run for him, so I would expect him to pull it in this time.
And he's got to keep in the back of his mind about the 45 of Patrick Pylon, I believe it was, who ran it out of fuel. It was roughly in this time when he ran out of fuel. So he's definitely got to keep that in mind, that it could run out, as it looks like he is going to pull it down pit road. He's going to get it slowed down in time, so he will not get a speeding penalty. He is going to take it to pit road. And we'll see, that should give the lead to Dan Butler for the first time here in tonight's race.
Yeah, and Dan Butler and John Van Verillas, both 26 laps on these tires, so I'm not sure there's enough laps left on this field run for John Van Verillas to get his lap led. But I think that's what he was trying to do until Austin Edstrom just passed him.
He did indeed, and John Van Verillas coming down pit road. However, Dan Butler's didn't come down pit road 27 laps. He has got to be running on fumes right now. So this is going to get very interesting. Will he run out of fuel? We've seen it happen once already, but so far he is making it around, so he may be conserving just a little bit better than Patrick Pylon did, and he is not coming in again.
Patrick Pylon ran out on lap 28 on the backstretch. So he completed 27, ran out of fuel on 28. So I would expect that this is going to be real close.
It is going to be real close, and if you miss your pit stop or something happens, you overshoot it and you're out of fuel, that is not good, and he is slowing down. He is out of fuel.
He's out of gas. He's out of gas, man. Oh wow. We knew he was really risking it there, and now he's just got to hope that he doesn't lose too much time as he tries to coast it in. Yeah, this is going to be the longest 30 seconds of this race for him.
Yeah, and it looks like I guess you'd call it a mistake that the 45 Patrick Pylon made. He tried to fire it back up or something there and spun it out. He hasn't spun it out, so he is definitely going to make it to pit road as he's on it right now. The question is, will he make it to his pit stall? That would just be the worst case scenario, to make it to pit road and not make it to your pit stall.
Or to overshoot your pit box and not have enough gas to throw in reverse and back up.
Yes.
Something that is very easy to do here.
It is indeed, and he's going to get it stopped in pit stall, so he will make it after running out of fuel, as we're on lap 84 of 120. Austin Edstrom once again in the lead. So again, just a good job for him to get it down to pit road and get it into his pit stall.
Yeah, and Jameer Muhammad back to about 14 seconds back. So he went from, I think he'd cut that lead well into single digits, back to about 14 seconds now. However, his cycle now is 9 laps fresher tires than Austin Edstrom. So he has successfully gotten onto a different pit strategy. And if and when we get a caution this race, that could have a big impact on this race.
Yeah, and right as you were talking about Jameer Muhammad having those fresh laps, he just got into the outside wall and smashed the right side of that truck just a little bit. So I'm not sure if that is going to hurt him enough here. It wasn't too bad of a hit, but you can see some distinct damage there to the front right of that truck.
Yeah, there's a little bit of aero damage. I think on that front right, I'm a little more worried if it kicks that splitter up, because that'll get the truck loose. If you get that right, a kink there on the right side of that splitter, it gets a little more air into the truck, and it'll get it loose getting into these corners, especially in 3 or 4. And it looks like his splitter's okay, so I don't think that, just looking at that, is probably going to affect him too much.
No, I don't either. Not too much damage, mostly right there around the fender for that tire. And again, I'm not even sure we have fender rubs here on that tire, if that it could pop the tire. We do know, you know firsthand, of course, that you can blow a tire here on iRacing if it gets too worn out. I'm not sure on damage, though.
Yeah, I don't think that that fender rub contributes to the wearing of the tires. I don't know that we have that modeled. But I do know, and it's very difficult to do, but I'm probably one of the few idiots here on iRacing that's done it without trying, to run a tire all the way down to 0% and get a tire. And it's just like, watching a race on TV. You go to make that corner, and you just sail straight through that corner right into the wall.
Yeah.
So it does happen. Tire pressure goes down to 0, and flat tires do exist.
And yeah, it was very interesting to be there and see it happen. But it was just again interesting. But someone who is not worrying about flats, that is the 83 of Alex Huffman, up to 9th place right now. Again, started 20th, so he's up to 9th. He's in top 10 now, and he's trying to work over the 9 of Brian Dorsey to see if he can get up there. Craig Covington right behind him in 10th. So both of those putting together a pretty good run. Alex Huffman having a great run after starting at the back of this field.
Yeah, and we got Tommy Gossett's in 3rd place right now, but Bryson Barker is right behind him, so be interested to see what happens there. And then right behind them is Jameer Mohammed with his fresh tire, so I would imagine he's going to overtake them both. But Tommy Gossett with another fantastic run, up 16 spots from 19th to 3rd.
Yeah, he's definitely, if not the biggest mover, he might as well be. He has just got by everybody here tonight, and he's done it several times for that matter. As after pit stops, he's had to pass through or by people once again. So not only the biggest mover, but biggest mover a couple of times. As here comes Jameer Muhammad, he's going to get by Bryson Barker in the 84. So Jameer Muhammad going to take 4th place from Bryson Barker, and he is on the hunt once again to get back up to the front of this race.
Yeah, I would expect him to probably get up there to 2nd place on this run if he can, the way he's got those fresher tires. But there is a large gap. Austin Edstrom has a huge lead over the 15 truck of Brian Bizzle right now, who I might add has been running real strong as of late. The last several races we've done, Brian Bizzle has been up front in the mix every one of those.
He has indeed. And then number 15, Machine, such a good run for him every week. Austin Edstrom having good run. Really, let's go take a look here at the top 5. It is Edstrom, Bizzle, Muhammad, Gossett, and Barker, as Muhammad did just get by Gossett here for 3rd place. Again, such a good run for all these guys here in the top 5 right now, especially Tommy Gossett. But again, I just don't know. I think Jameer Muhammad definitely has 12 laps in his tires compared to 18 and 20 for the guys in front of him. He's got the fresh tires, and he very well could be up at the front leading this race in the next few laps.
Yeah, look for Austin Edstrom to pit around lap 22. He's got 20 laps on these tires again. That's what he's been doing, 22, 23 laps into a run. So expect Austin Edstrom to pit here in about 2 or 3 laps, and then Jameer Mohammed will probably run another 15 laps on these tires. So,
yeah,
go ahead.
It looked like he let the 72 of Ryan Wilson by him here to get his lap back, or one of them back anyway. He didn't really even battle him at all, which is, a good thing. If that was to get a lap back, he might have fought him a little bit more, but he's 2 laps. It was 2 laps down. Now he's only 1 lap down, so he's still no competition for Austin Edstrom, since he is a lap down still after getting the lead back, or getting one of his lead lap back. So, why fight him if you don't really have to for a position, let him go, let him take off and get ahead of you if he's faster. And, that's going to save him a lot of time trying to hold him off.
Well, like you said, he's a couple laps down. He's on 10-lap pressure tires, and if you're Austin Edstrom, you're probably going to pit here in the next lap or two anyways. So there's no point in just chancing something going wrong. Or anytime you race side by side with a guy, you're risking something. Somebody's going to just drive it in a little deeper than you were expecting, or you thought he was going to turn and he didn't turn, or he gets loose, or he pushes up because he overdrove it trying too hard. All those are a possibility. No reason for Austin Edstrom with an 8-second lead not to let the guy with fresher tires get a lap back.
Yeah, and pit stops have begun. Brian Bizzle down, Bryson Barker, Alex Huffman, Craig Covington down. We'll see who else is coming down. We have a few
Austin
more.
Edstrom.
Austin Edstrom coming down pit road. Again, the pit stops have started once again here. And while they're on the pit road here, is Jamir Muhammad is going to retake the lead. Let's bring up your caution card. Again, we have gone caution free here so far. 24 laps to go. We're going to have a pretty good race here at the end, I think, if it pans out the way we're expecting it to here with these leaders. But again, 24 laps to go. We know roughly here that Jamir Muhammad can't make it on fuel. With 24 laps plus 16 on this stint, he can't make it on fuel. Nobody can. They're going to have to pit one more time. This should be their last pit stop, though.
Yeah, well, so this is a critical round of pit stops. With the field as spread out as it is, the most likely place to have a caution happen right now is when these guys are trying to get into pit road there. Again, this is a tough pit entrance. So this is probably our best chance for caution. And, we've got Jamir Muhammad out there probably having the majority of the field down for about the next 10 laps, probably going to have him down a lap. So this is the danger zone for everybody else on the track, not named Jamir Muhammad right now, and maybe Austin Edstrom, who may drive his back. That may be what Jamir's banking on here, and there's a good chance he'll get it.
Yeah, there is indeed. As we're looking there is the 88 right there of Austin Edstrom. He is in third, and he's going to get around the lap car, the 101 of David Gainforth, and that means the car right in front of him. You can see those two on the screen. He can see Jamir Muhammad, the leader, in his sights there, as he is going to drive around him like it's no problem at all, because it isn't a problem. As he is quite a bit faster than him, 31.5 to a 32.6. So Austin Edstrom back on the lead lap. Only 3 cars are on the lead lap right now.
Yeah, so we saw how easy that's what a second lap looks like right now, and that is what Jamir Muhammad is losing right now if the caution doesn't come out. Another thing that Jamir may have in mind here is a 2-tire stop. He might be thinking about a 2-tire stop and a half a tank of fuel to get him in and out of the pit road 7 or 8 seconds faster.
Yeah, he's definitely got to have a strategy here, and he does. The question is, we don't know it because we're not down there listening to radio chatter or inside his head, so we don't know it. But Jack Fellers is going to come down in the 48. So he will go down, and we'll see here if he's going to possibly take 2 tires or what he is going to do. As we'll see, there goes one side, so he is getting right side tires. Will he take left side tires is the question, and he will. So Jack Feller is going to take 4 tires and fuel. The real question is, what will Jamir Muhammad do here when he makes his last pit stop? But it's not happening right now, as he is still out on the track.
Well, we know that they're going to have to make one more pit stop. Jamir Muhammad probably, this is going to be his final pit stop. So what do we got? 17 laps left. I don't know if 5 laps left, so I'll have about 12. Yeah, he might be able to do 2 tires. I'm not sure how it's going to drive with 2 tires, but that can of fuel, he probably would still make up 5 or 6 seconds.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one here for him, I'm sure, to make that decision. But again, that's why he's good at what he does. And he can't count him out. I mean, 17 to go here, going to be 16 at the line. He has 23 laps on those tires. He's definitely losing time. He's the only truck out there with 32-second lap time. So he is losing a lot of time. As he is not going to come down pit road this time. Check in with Austin Edstrom here. As we'll see if we can tell the gap there between those two. So he is he's cooled away. He's about a turn, about one turn away from him. So Austin Edstrom is definitely pulling away, and if he doesn't pit soon, he'll probably be back to his back bumper here in the next 10 laps. But he's going to have to pit before them anyway.
Yeah, Austin Edstrom, I'm still showing a 27-second gap, so I don't think he's going to be able to get back around to his bumper. But we do have a real nice battle behind these two right now for the remaining 2 podium spots there with Brian Bizzle and Tommy Gossett. They're just going at it, and then right behind them you've got Bryson Barker in this mix too, and then not sure, I think it's a lap car of 45 car of Patrick Pylon in that mix too. But we've got 4 cars there, just been trading places like crazy.
Yeah, and it's good to see that these guys are still battling. The 45 definitely, he ran out of fuel. He didn't damage anything, really. So he just had to tow just to get fuel. So he didn't have a whole lot of damage. They're possibly going to take it 3 wide, but they think better of it. Tommy Gossett back up to 3rd once again. So we've seen him be up there before, and we've seen him obviously be in the front before, period. So he is, again, 1 lap down. But, that doesn't matter because 3rd, my bad, all the way from 3rd to 16th or a lap down because Jameer Muhammad has not pit, and he will now.
Jameer Muhammad on pit road. So now we'll see if he's got some kind of a 2-tire strategy or something like that, or if he just tops off, gets 4 tires, and let the chips fall where they may.
We definitely will. As we're watching him on pit road, we'll see if he gets jacked up. The right side's going up, so he will take right tires. Will he take left tires is the question. And he is. He's going to take 4 tires and fuel. So this could get interesting here, as Austin Edstrom will be your race leader now. Jameer Muhammad going to be coming out in 5th. Now he'll go to 6th. And now everyone is not just passing him. They're getting their laps back and passing him. So he's going to be back in 7th position now. But again, he has no laps on his tires compared to 12 for the rest of this field. So if he ever had a time to push it and just drive those tires off that truck, now's that time.
He needs a caution, right? He's got 12, 13 lap pressure tires. There's 12 laps to go. A caution with a 5-lap run would just turn this race upside down right now. He'd have those tires that are fresh enough to just kind of tear through that field. I think he'd force everybody else to get tires. But unless that happens, Austin Edstrom with a 10-second lead, this is his to lose. I mean, all he's got to really do is hope there's no caution and keep it on the track.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's got to do here. As at the line, be 10 laps to go. Again, we want to mention, we talk about the skill level that, it's these guys have in this league, and really leagues in general. Again, just how good these guys are. We have gone caution-free for so far 100 laps. So, again, what an amazing feat here to go caution-free so far. We don't want to jinx it, but 10 laps separate us from going caution-free this entire race.
Yeah, and with this, Las Vegas is a very grippy track, and we've got a 50% fuel load, so it's not like we're out there 50 laps on these tires. But irregardless, getting onto pit road in these trucks is very difficult. We've seen several guys lock up tires, slide them a little bit. I saw a couple wiggles there. One out of Austin Edstrom on his last pit stop. So it's still quite a feat to go, 112 laps now without a single caution.
Yeah, it is indeed. And Tommy Gossett back here trying to battle back to a third position and get a podium finish. He is currently, of course, in the fourth position. Brian Bizzle just ahead of him in third. And that's a nice little battle going on right there for second, third, fourth, and even fifth getting in the mix here. Fifth is not getting in the mix. So second, third, and fourth really battling here. Bryson Barker, Brian Bizzle, and Tommy Gossett.
Yeah, and I think maybe you can expect Jamir Muhammad to get up into this mix here, too, at the end of this race with 10 laps to go and so much fresher tires. I think this little group here and maybe Jamir Muhammad catching them, this is really the race right now. Austin Edstrom, again, keep it on the track. Don't lose the race. And, I think second through fifth and sixth, that's going to be a good battle here at the end of this race.
Yeah, I definitely think it is going to be a good battle. And you got to keep in mind, Jamir Muhammad is running 31.4 second laps to 32.3, so basically 32.4. So a second faster. You talked about it just a few laps ago, about 20 or so laps ago, how Austin Edstrom got by Jamir Muhammad so quickly, and that was a second difference in lap times. So Jamir Muhammad definitely has the speed in there. However, he's got 5 to go here, 6 to go, my bad. 6 laps to go, but he has quite a bit of real estate, 13 seconds to make up. If he makes up a second per lap, like you said, this is Austin's race to lose. I don't think he has enough time to get up there.
No, I think Jamir Muhammad, with 5 laps to go, maybe he can challenge for a podium finish, second or third there with Bryson Barker and Brian Bizzle, Tommy Gossett, because he's closing in on him real fast. But I think that's probably his ceiling right now without a caution, which if we had a caution, it would end the race now.
Yeah, it would. 5 to go. Anything 5 to go or less ends the race. And, I don't expect to see that. But, like you said, I agree. I think we'll see Jamir Muhammad get up there and possibly get a podium finish. Again, he is your points leader. So, right now, Austin Edstrom will gain some points on him. He will cut away to that lead. And I have a feeling, based on the fact that David Gainforth is back in 13th place right now, Austin Edstrom will probably take second in the point standings from him. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see. But I believe that's will be unofficially the point standings for the top 3 anyway. I don't believe Jim Locking is actually here tonight.
Yeah, I didn't see Jim Locking either. Tommy Gossett, I want to point out there, he was trying to pass up Brian Bizzle on the inside, and he pushed up, got tight, had to get out of it, lost a lot of ground, and Jamir Muhammad got by him. So Tommy Gossett's a ways back here, and Jamir Muhammad is already pressing here for third place.
He is indeed. He is all over the back bumper, Brian Bizzle. And, it looks like they have a lap car. Is that David Gainforth that's in there?
It is. And a veteran move by Brian Bizzle to use that lap car as a pick there and maybe try to hold Jamir Muhammad off. But with those, 15-lap pressure tires, it just wasn't enough.
No, it wasn't. And, there it is, as the leaders are going to be coming there to 2 to go. I have a feeling, like you said, Jamir Muhammad's probably going to get second place. I don't see why he wouldn't get by Bryson Barker unless Bryson Barker does a really good job of holding him off. But you see right there, it's not going to happen.
Well, Bryson Barker is an excellent racer. So, if anybody could do it there for a lap or two on those older tires, it would be him or Austin Edstrom. But Jamir Muhammad is an excellent driver in his own right. So, didn't happen. Didn't see it happening. I think he's going to drive away from this group, and now what we're left to figure out here is can Brian Bizzle catch Bryson Barker here?
Is indeed, as it is a 1 lap to go, presented by Northwest Racing Series. And again, who is going to get third place right now? I think it is going to go to Bryson Barker. But Austin Edstrom coming up on the line. I believe he's actually crossed it there, so we missed him crossing the line. But checkered flags are waved, so your race winner is going to be the 88 of Austin Edstrom here tonight. 120 laps, caution-free, and Austin Edstrom bringing home the win.
Yeah, what an amazing race! 100 laps, 120 laps with no cautions. I'll tell you what, these guys are probably just sweating like crazy. The legs are shaking a little bit from being on the pedals. They're looking for something to drink. You run a long race like that with no cautions, man, and it feels so good to finally pull over and get some blood flow going back to the extremities and get a little bit of hydration back in you.
It does indeed, for sure. Been there, done that. These guys are going to pull it to a stop here on the start finish line, of course, for their signature photo that they do here for the top three. That being said, we're going to step away. We're going to get those top three drivers on radio here, and we are going to have a chat with them, see their thoughts on tonight's race. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here with your post-race show, and believe Jeff has caught up with our third-place finisher, the 84, Bryson Barker. So, Jeff, we will turn the mic over to you.
Bryson Barker, you got a copy? Bryson, can you hear me?
Well, maybe having some.
Sounds like we have some technical difficulties there, Charles.
We do know all too well about those. We've been having them, or you've been having them lately, but again, we'll see if we can't come back to him here in a minute. If we can get that working. But second place was the 14 of Jamir Muhammad. As always, putting together a fantastic run. So first off, congrats on second place here, Jameer. Just, let us go. What kind of strategy you had going on there? It looked like you were coming to the front as you were definitely passing cars. Just ran out of real estate, or time to get up there to the real estate anyway.
Yeah. I had a little bit different strategy. I was trying to run a little longer on the tires, and it seemed to be working out, at least through the first two runs, and then I slid through the pits on, I think, my second or third pit stop, which cost me quite a bit of time. And so basically I was kind of trying to make up for that. But given my strategy didn't really work out because of my mistake, I'm glad that I ended up finishing second.
Well, it definitely takes a lot of skill to make a mistake like that on pit road and recover from it so well. We definitely were wondering if you were going to get back up to the front. I personally think maybe if we'd have had, probably 10 more laps on this race, I have a feeling you might have caught up with Austin. It would have been very interesting to see with those fresher tires. You only had 12 in yours to 23 of Austin's. If you would have been able to get by him, it would have been a great battle between you two, as it always is when we watch you two race each other. So again, just congrats on that second place. Hard fought battle. You worked your way back up after the pit road mistake, and came back to a second place finish. So any sponsors or anyone you just want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I just want to thank Leo's Coney's Island for sponsoring this iRacing Drivers World. Shout out to admins, and congratulations to Austin. He drove a pretty much perfect race, so I had to do a little something different to try and, but I wasn't going to beat him on the track tonight, so congrats.
All right. Well, again, congrats on second place, and you should keep that points lead coming out of tonight's race. We'll know more next week when we come in here again. But getting the win here, speaking of the points, he cut into that lead just a little bit here. Going to be a few points into it. That is the 88 of Austin Edstrom. You're sitting in a victory lane here tonight. Again, we were talking about earlier, you've had some disappointing finishes here in the series, not necessarily this one, but the league as a whole, where you got bumped once and it DQ'd you, but that didn't happen here tonight. You led, surprisingly, 88 laps here, and that is your car number, so you led 88 laps, dominant fashion. So, you'll get your take on it there. If we'd had those extra 10 laps, you think it would have been a good battle between you and Jamir Muhammad?
Oh, there's no telling for real. If there was another 10 laps, I would have had a pit. So if there was another 10 laps, he would have won purely on strategy. I wish that we could have raced it out, but I short pitted him a little bit, even though I was ahead of him on that first pit stop. And I could tell him staying out like another lap or two, it was going to end up being a strategy race. I didn't think he could make it on one less pit stop, so I knew I had the fresher tires for a better amount of time, that I would win it if I didn't get a caution while he was out on the track, not pitting yet, because he had me lap down a couple times through the green flag pit stops, and if a caution would have came out, there's no way I was going to pass him on a restart or anything. It's just too hard to pass on brand new tires with somebody that's the same exact speed as you. So it would have been a good race if we would have been on the same strategy, but it didn't work out like that. I just kind of got lucky, but it's pretty funny that I did lead 88 laps.
Yeah, definitely. It couldn't have worked out any better there. You led again the same exact as your car number. But we know you got some people you want to give a shout out to. Any sponsors you want to give a shout out to for getting you here tonight and get you in victory lane?
Yeah, Leo's Coney Island, obviously title sponsor. Gotta shout them out. Thanks to them for letting us come out here and race, and iRacing Drivers World, and Justin, of course, because he gave me a little hint yesterday in a practice session, and it really picked up my long run speed. And without that, it would have been just like last week where Jamir just had me after 10 laps. So he gave me a little tip, which probably won me the race tonight. So I got to thank him for that.
Oh, awesome. To get that little tip there to help you out for that long run speed. Again, congrats on the win here tonight. And we'll try one more time. Jeff, let's see if we can get in a word with second place. If not, we'll move on to the point standings.
Yeah, Bryson Barker, you got us now.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, Bryson Barker, definitely no stranger to podium finishes or post-race interviews. Congratulations on the third place finish. Why don't you go ahead and walk us through your race here a little bit tonight?
Yeah, didn't qualify as well as I wanted to, but race started out pretty steady, and then through the strategies, I just got behind Austin, and Jamir is on a different strategy than me, so I was kind of playing keep up the entire race. And one of the early stops, I slid through the tires, or I slid through my box, so I had to audible and take 2 tires, so that hurt for one of the runs, and I was just playing catch up the entire race. But to finish top 3, I'm satisfied. I'm ready to go on to the next week.
Well, it seems like every time we looked in on you, you were running side by side with somebody, and most of the time it was either Brian Bislow or Tommy Gossett. You guys traded places for probably about half the race there. How was that little pack running with those guys there?
Yeah, it was fun, man. Anytime I can race with Brian or Tommy, it's a blast. And I knew I was probably a little faster than those guys. I got behind them on that last run, and they were racing each other, and I was able to get a run off of 4 and take it 3 wide to the bottom, and I was able to get around them.
Yeah, it was good to watch. And then right there, I think with about 1 to go, maybe it was 2 to go, Jamir Muhammad, he was on that alternate pit strategy. I think he had about 12-lap fresher tires than you. We were wondering if he was going to catch you or not. We thought it was going to be close. He got to you, and did you think that maybe you had a shot to just hold him off there for that last lap for second place, or did you pretty much just concede it as soon as he caught you?
Yeah, I thought Brian was going to help me out and hold him up a little bit, but Jamir's fast, and I knew that probably wasn't going to happen. But, yeah, once he got clear of the 15, I knew there's no fighting him. I might as well just give him the top and just take a top 3.
Well, congratulations on a top 3 finish. Like we said, you're no stranger to those. Seems like every time we do one of these races, we're interviewing you. So, you got any shout-outs for anybody, family members, friends, teammates, league sponsors, anything like that?
Yeah, of course, Leo's, Coney Island, and iRacing Drivers World. Big shout out to those guys. We appreciate it. And just the admins and the other competitors out there. And thanks to you guys.
All right. Well, congratulations once again, Bryson. And Charles, we're going to go ahead and send this back to you.
All right. Again, to get to your points settings, your race results here. Again, we'll switch it up here a little bit since you were the last one there to do that interview. I'll run through our top 10 and let you finish us off here tonight. But pulling up the unofficial race results here for tonight, of course, getting the win is going to be the 88 of Austin Edstrom. The 14 of Jameer Muhammad going to finish in second place, and third place is going to be the 84 of Bryson Barker. Fourth place will be the 15 of Brian Bizzle, and fifth place will be the 3 of Tommy Gossett. In sixth place will be the 13 of James Lorello. Seventh place will be the 12 of James Morgan. Eighth place will be Alex Huffman in the 83. And ninth place will be the 9 of Brian Dorsey. And rounding out your top 10 here tonight is going to be the 96 of Craig Covington.
All right, in position 11, we've got the 99 of Justin Starr. In 12th place, we had the number 8 of Mikey Neal. In 13th, we had the 48 of Jack Fellers. In 14th, we had the 101 of David Gainforth. In 15th, we had the 87 of John Van Varillis. In 16th place was the 21 of Dan Butler. Bringing it home 17th was the 72 of Ryan Wilson. In 18th place, running out of gas on that was Patrick Pylon in the 45 truck. In 19th place, we had newcomer to the league, the 24 truck, Donnie Gatton. In 20th place, we had the 11 of Dennis Ellis. And in 21st place, we had the 5 of Brandon Dorsett. Not making the race tonight was the 47 of Trevor Graffam and the 2 of Jared Hagedorn.
Yeah, unfortunate. Didn't make it here tonight, having some connection issues. So that is unfortunate for him. We do want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight on the new channel here. We do want to thank all the sponsors, of course. One, of course, Walls Beard Co. If you have a beard, you need to check them out. They got some great beard balm, all organic and natural products. Make sure you check them out at wallsbeardco.com for all of those beard product needs. SimSpeedShop.com. If you are an iRacer, you're going to need a button box. They can customize it for you, especially with Rallycross just coming out. They have some new e-brakes, so make sure you check that out as well. Northwest Racing Series, again, they are the official One Lap to Go sponsor here for the channel, so make sure you definitely check them out. Whether you're watching their races here on the channel on Thursday nights or Monday nights, make sure you definitely check them out. And if you are in the Northwest Club here on iRacing, definitely check them out. Look into possibly joining that if you're looking for some great racing. Always a blast to cover all of that. And of course, we have Ohio IndyCar League. If you're looking to get into some great IndyCar racing, check them out at Ohio IndyCar League, no longer just taking Ohio club members. iBog, iRacing Broadcast Overlay and Graphics. They are your sim broadcast graphics source. Check them out at ibog.co for all of those great stuff. And last but not least, here on the No Excuses TV side of things, that is the Hershey Design Company. Make sure you check them out. If you have a iRacing account and you race, well, you're going to need a paint job, so make sure you check them out for that. And of course, on the racing side of things, we have a Global Building Contractors. They are a general sponsor for this series and a title sponsor for the Xfinity series. And iRacing Drivers World, over 7,000 members and growing. We promote these races on there. You can promote stuff you have upcoming on there as well. And, of course, the presenting sponsor for this series here is Leo's Coney Island in Rochester Hills. Make sure if you are in that area, you check them out for some great food. We've looked over their menu. We couldn't read it all here. It is a lot of great food. So make sure you check out, again, Leo's Coney Island in Rochester Hills for all of their great stuff. That being said, we are just about done here. Jeff, any final words before we sign off for the night?
Yeah, 120 green flag laps tonight. Just phenomenal racing from a crew that always puts on a fantastic show. Just so glad to be a part of No Excuses TV here with you guys tonight, and part of the RACECORE broadcast family. So always a pleasure.
Indeed, we're definitely glad to be here covering this race, and we got some more races coming up this week. We do have the SRA Global Rallycross race. That is the season finale coming up tomorrow night, followed by Upper Edge Racing, so definitely be checking that out. And of course, we can't forget Thursday night we do have the Northwest Truck Series coming up. Going to be some great racing there as well. That being said, we are done here for the night, so we'll see you at the next race tomorrow night. 2 races coming up. So as always, on behalf of RACECORE and No Excuses TV, we'll see you at the next race.